Ryan had come to the city for the first time. His parents had made it very clear, "Son, don't waste money. Find a cheap room for rent. Just focus on your studies." He had come to prepare for medical school, his mind weighed down only by the pressure of exams. After searching for days, Ryan found an old house in a quiet neighborhood. There was a large nameplate outside, but the name on it was faded. The landlord was an elderly man, thin and frail, dressed in plain white clothes. He took Ryan upstairs and showed him a room. The room was small, with one window and a ceiling fan. The walls were damp and slightly stained. Ryan thought it was good enough. What more did he need for studying? The rent was cheaper than anywhere else. He agreed to take it. That very first night, something felt strange. The room seemed to echo with faint sounds, as though the walls weren't empty. He told himself, "It's just a new place. I'll get used to it." But in the morning, he noticed something odd, a faint handprint on the wall beside the bed. He brushed it off, maybe dampness, or maybe left by a previous tenant. The next morning, the mark was darker. On the third day, it looked even clearer, the long fingers pressed deep as though someone had forced them onto the wall. Ryan laughed nervously at himself. "My mind is just making things up." But the nights kept getting stranger. When he glanced at the wall, it seemed as though the stain was moving, like a finger slowly dragging across wet paint. Terrified, Ryan went to the landlord. "Sir, the marks on the wall keep changing. It's really disturbing." The old man didn't even look at him. He simply muttered, "Focus on your studies, son. Don't let your mind wander elsewhere." The answer chilled Ryan. One evening, while drinking tea at a small street stall, Ryan casually mentioned where he lived. The tea seller froze, staring at him. "You're staying in that room?" Ryan nodded. The tea seller gave a nervous laugh. "There used to be another boy there. He was also preparing for medical school. They say the pressure broke him. One night he wrote something on that wall before taking his own life." Ryan's stomach dropped. "What did he write?" The tea seller's voice lowered. "Nobody was allowed to read it. The landlord had the wall whitewashed immediately, but people say the words always find their way back." Ryan felt the ground slip beneath his feet. From then on, the room seemed alive. The fan would stop mid-spin. The window would rattle even when shut. But the worst was always the wall. The stains no longer looked like handprints. They were forming letters. First came an R. The next night, a E, then a A. And finally the word was clear: "Don't read." Ryan could no longer concentrate. Fear gnawed at him. One day he confronted the landlord again. "Why is this happening? Tell me the truth. What really happened to the boy before me?" The landlord's eyes filled with unease. He whispered, "Son, if you insist, the same thing will happen to you." Ryan's heart pounded with dread. He couldn't study anymore, couldn't sleep. His friends laughed it off as imagination. But Ryan knew the wall wasn't just showing stains, it was carrying a message. That night he couldn't sleep. His gaze kept darting to the wall. Suddenly, knock, knock, knock. The sound came from inside the wall itself, like someone trying to break free. He rushed to the door, tried to open it, but the latch wouldn't budge. He pulled with all his strength, but the door wouldn't move. Behind him, the walls spread with dark shapes. Letters carved themselves into words, forming a final sentence. "Now it's your turn." The next morning, the neighbors said the light in Ryan's room had stayed on all night. But Ryan himself was nowhere to be found. The landlord locked the door with a heavy padlock, and the tea seller whispered, "Soon another tenant will come, and then it will all begin again."